Sometimes in history, there's this magic moment. Somebody appears on the scene and everything changes.
I am with you.
We've never seen anything like this.
I will fight for you.
This was a man who's met his destiny.
And I will win for you.
He said he was saved by God in order to make America great again.
His victory was the greatest comeback of all time.
You're watching history, so buckle up.
I don't think the American people have ever seen this before. A government that has moved this quickly and a president that has done so much when it comes to the border and energy and major investments from other countries. It's like warp speed.
47's on a hot streak, bringing head-snapping change to Washington, overwhelming the system with a volcanic eruption of action. Trump has a mandate from the people, and he's using it, and they're just getting started.
President Trump said on the campaign trail, success will be my retribution.
Despite the best efforts of those who would try to censor us, silence us, break us, destroy us, Americans are today a proud, free, sovereign, and independent nation that will always be free. We're going to have one shot at this, and no other president's going to do what I'm doing.
America's back, common sense is back. He is keeping his promise to you, the American people.
Inflation is down, growth is up.
The numbers don't lie. The economy is soaring.
Lowest gas prices in 4 years.
And record tariff revenue.
The USA is on a roll, culminating in the signing of the One Big Beautiful Bill on July 4th.
The Trump economic golden age is full steam ahead.
America is back, thanks to the courage of President Trump, thanks to the leadership of his amazing cabinet, and thanks, of course, to our brave men and women in the United States military.
This is a message to the rest of the world. The days of ripping off America and Americans are officially over.
Between the attacks on Iran's nuke site and the Maduro operation, the U.S. military recruitment at an all-time high.
This president will go down in history as a peacemaking president.
Peace through strength, America's in charge.
And he's just got one filter, and that is America first.
Whatever they're doing, it's working. Zero illegal crossing, drug cartels frustrated, less crimes.
We have the most secure border in the history of this nation. If you think we're doing good now, you just wait till this coming year.
The president isn't taking his foot off the gas in 2026.
It's a new year. The stock markets are already making new record highs.
The Trump archive are a series of near impossible feats.
As for the next year, the American people have so much to look forward to. The president will continue to build off of his historic accomplishments.
2025 was setting the table, but the banquet's going to be in 2026.
This is the golden age coming.
He says, make America great again because every American is invited.
My fellow Americans, get ready for an incredible future because the golden age of America has only just begun.
On the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there is having themselves a great day. That was, of course, posted January 20th of this year. And just even looking back on that, it's only, little over 2 months ago. And look how far we've come. Look how far we've come. So a lot is happening, and there's a lot of narrative out there. There's a lot of discussion about how Trump has no idea what he's doing, how Trump is just a buffoon, how Trump just underestimates essentially the power of the deep state, because it is all the deep state players that are telling us how big a mistake he's making. Yet, time and time again, he has proven not only does he have a pretty good understanding of what the hell's going on, but in fact is really good at making deals and really good at ending things that should no longer be. Now, when we think slightly ahead and just extrapolate that a hair, especially from things that he's made mention of. You can think of maybe the Federal Reserve being on that list. Certainly he's already started some rhetoric with his war with Powell, the $1 billion+ of waste, fraud, and abuse by our very own Fed, even though it's a private organization. I was talking to my money guy the other day, And he was asking me about a right-leaning conspiracy friend of his that was talking about this stuff. And he's like, is there any truth to this? I told him straight up. I said, look it up, man. Look where the Federal Reserve is. Look at, I go, did you know that was a private organization? He's like, no. I go, yeah, it's licensed out of Puerto Rico. And he's just like, did not know that. I'm like, uh-huh. There is so much going on, and the deep state narrative is just not holding up. Now, the big one that's current, and again, we'll see how it plays out. I'm not 100% sure, but track records being what they are, and Trump knowing what's up, this Iran thing is going to have a lot of egg on a lot of people's faces, countries' faces for that matter, which is a big part of what the Strait of Hormuz issue was all about. Now, all of a sudden, 20 countries are interested in being involved. Oh, look at that. All of a sudden, when we're like, all right, well, we're gonna float away. We don't really care about it, so have a good day. Thanks for your attention to the matter. We blew up Iran really good. They're mostly gone. You guys go ahead and deal with your little Strait of Hormuz problem, because it's not ours. Now, they do say, I've seen different figures, basically 21 to 30% of the world's oil, I don't know what the fluctuations are, goes through that particular strait. Which means, obviously a lot of the other oil goes from other places. And the United States is the largest oil producer on the planet by far. I just shared the graph with Trump's yesterday. Double Saudi Arabia. Put Saudi Arabia and Russia together, and we're bigger than that. And liquid natural gas, we're bigger than the top 3 put together. We are a nation that is on the rise, a nation that is heading towards richness, and then a nation that will be able to help other nations, but not through these all bureaucratic, deep state, UN and World Health Organization and NATO and all these stupid organizations that have waste, fraud, and abuse baked into them, and something we can't necessarily fix. Things are changing, and changing for the better. And we're destroying their narrative. We've got some examples of it, too. We'll keep going here. There's a new video actually shows the Air Canada plane crashing into the fire truck. Again, this totally reminds me of the truck that rammed into the monkey truck. I brought that up the other day, but they had that monkey truck with a bunch of monkeys in it that had diseases or whatever, and they're transporting them. This truck comes out of nowhere, like a tow truck or something, just barrels into the damn thing, killed all but like 3 monkeys. Strange. Again, I don't know. This is such a weird situation. And it is. There was an emergency they were responding to, so there's some legitimacy, it seems, but nonetheless, crazy as hell. Whoops. And it's horrible. A lot of people, 2 pilots died. Interestingly, a stewardess was on that flight. She was in her jump seat, literally got ejected from the airplane, flew 300 feet or skidded 300 feet, ended up 300 feet away from the plane and lived. Talk about when your time is your time, when God's there with you, angels protecting you, wrapped in a bubble, whatever the hell happened. I'm sure for her, it probably played in slow motion. And this always reminds me of the stupid joke. What sound does a water truck make when it crashes into a vinegar truck? Douche. I will forever think that joke is funny, even though nobody douches anymore. But there are a lot of douches in the world, right? France, Macron, I'm thinking, just off the top of my head. Yep, Starmer, maybe. He could fall into the douche category. Now, look, here's a funny thing. And, you can call this racism. I don't care. You can call me racist for bringing it up. You can call me racist for what I'm about to say. I don't care. There are stereotypes for a reason. Everybody falls into a stereotype. Everybody falls into multiple stereotypes. And they're not always right. But stereotypes exist for a reason, don't they? Everybody can admit it. I'm not specifically calling out anybody's stereotypes at the moment, but every single race, color, creed, belief, whatever, all of them have these types of these biases baked in, right? Stereotypes, even neighborhoods, really. Typical people tend to be, like, I got a really cool neighborhood, really cool. A lot of Asians in my neighborhood, though. So, yeah. But this is, I don't know, is it CVS or where, CVS. And only certain products have the tags on them. Now, more importantly, only specific cosmetic problems and products. And why do I say cosmetic? Because when I think of the types of people that tend to steal And then you even think of maybe the transgendery side of that. Maybe. But it's just funny. I don't know. You tell me.
Notice there are no security devices.
Now, just for anybody that, guys like me, because I had to actually watch this like 4 times before I finally saw it, this is supposed to roughly be the skin tone, right? It's both fair, clear, light, pale, okay? So the color's up here. It'll be relevant.
On any of these. Same thing down here. No security devices. But when we get to this shade,
That's so weird. I wonder why. And I bet you the people that bitch about it when they're in the CVS, this is racist. They're probably the people that normally would have stolen it. And yes, I said that. And if that's racist, Over 5 explosive devices were discovered in Fort Washington Park in Maryland. I mean, the dude went in with a bomb suit, so I don't know if we have any. Oh, this is Sunday? So obviously we didn't hear about anything other than this. I don't know if they're legit or not. I don't know if they did an update. Did they? You guys update on this? ATF noted the devices were not recently placed in the park's woods, so okay. It's probably just everyone being overly sensitive. That's cool, though. Better safe than sorry. I want to remind you guys, Mike Lindell hooked us up, and it's just weird because I don't know I know basically what happens. You guys are so freaking awesome, and apparently I love this product so much, I've managed to get a lot of you guys to try it, and I've found from most of you that I've talked to that have tried it, you're like, Dan, you're right. The sheets are awesome. They've got an amazing sale going right now. Best sale I've ever. They're always $39.98. It's $10 cheaper. Free shipping right now. That's if you don't have the Giza sheets, high thread count sheets, if you don't have them, this is the time to try them. If you can only get one pair, fine, free shipping. But this is the time. They've got beautiful colors and they're super deep pockets. But what's beautiful, and this is because they're moving warehouses and they don't want to move all this crap. They want to sell it. Move it that way. That's not crap, but, other people's stuff is shit and your shit stuff. Anyway, it's a funny joke Carlin did. Mattress toppers are amazing. $99.99. They're starting right there. Boom. This is like a 3-inch topper. They'll mail it to your front door. And this thing is incredible. And again, you get the Giza Dream Sheets, and that'll go right over the top. Now, they do have a pretty sweet deal going on with this. I think you probably will see it if you click onto it. At least they initially were. They were offering 2 pillows and 2 pillowcases. That might still be a part of that deal. You want to check it out. Certainly my favorite pillow, the standard pillow, is the best pillow, hands down. Woof, woof, woof. It's perfectly back to normal. Literally, if you flatten the side, like a next morning, like when you go to bed the next night, I should say, all you do is you just take the sides of the pillow and just do that. And it's like exactly like the first time you used it again. And then you put your head on it and it just perfectly supports your neck. The pillow's awesome. I don't, again, it blows my mind that I had shit pillows my whole life. I always had to have a really thin one, and they're always those fiberfill crap pillows. That's what I grew up with, right? Big, thick pillows, it hurt my neck. Like hotels, I hated it. I always had to bring my stupid pillow with me. This was the first pillow I ever tried in my life that actually I was like, this is better than my stupid little thin pillow that I've been carrying around with me for like 30 years. Their pillow's amazing. Also, best towels you'll ever use. It's like I don't even have to scroll down much my favorite products they do this on purpose. I love the towels. That's all I use. They actually absorb. They're better than Bounty, by the way. Bounty sucks now. I actually buy Bounty all the time. It's not the quicker picker upper anymore. It's sort of good. You have to use about 18 of them. This actually, I have a glass shower door right by the handle. I can't get it with the squeegee, so I grab the towel. One wipe, gone. Doesn't make that noise, but it should. I mean, that'd be so rad. But down. It sucks up everything. One wipe. Best towels you'll ever use. Ladies, if you put your hair up in it the first time you use it, you're going to be so pissed because your hair is going to be dry. And that's not what you wanted. And finally, great deal on these things. These things are awesome. Look at the thickness of that fuzz. We're not lying. This is what they are. They've got a rubber sole. It's got like 7 layers. They're super comfortable and soft inside. It's got a good stitching on the side. You can wear them outside if you want. One of the best slippers you're ever going to use, and they come with the free leather protectant spray because they are actually suede. They're beautiful. Beautiful. Check it out. Go to mypillow.com/OTF. mypillow.com/OTF. Did I mention the free shipping? Yeah, they got that going on. And don't listen to this up here. That's just everybody else. For the 4 special groups, and there's only 4 of us, free shipping on your entire order. That's because you guys are the best. You guys earned this, which means take advantage of this. You guys created it, and it ain't going to last forever. Take advantage of the sweet-ass sale. MyPillow.com/OTF. MyPillow.com/OTF. Get the best night of sleep you have ever had. All right, we got some election news. Let's get into this. So ChatGPT apparently was running some safety warnings on any win red links, but they were fine with Act Blue links. Many are freaking out, and this is a good thing to freak out about. They're like, this is election finagling or interfering with elections. Yeah, it's a lot of things. Secondly, don't trust OpenAI. I mean, if you're going to use AI, I would try to use Grok more. You know Grok is going to be a lot fairer and certainly okay with conservatives, and it has access to all of X, which is helpful. So I would highly recommend that rather than trusting ChatGPT. Donald Trump posted this. He said, Democrats are desperate to keep illegals, no matter how bad or dangerous they may be, in the country. They want them to vote. That's why they are fighting so hard to neutralize ICE. And we will fight them all the way and win. And we will. And we are. Trump's rejecting, supposedly, John Thune's. He wanted to do the DHS without ICE, the funding. And he's like, no. Now, there was The Hill posted really shortly after this came out that this was, that Trump was thinking about actually accepting it, but that was according to alleged sources. And again, this is one of the things that's cracking me up right now. I've really got to dig into stories to find out, did someone actually say this, or is it bullshit? Because a lot of the times your bullshit meter's like just flailing, and you're like, something doesn't feel right about this. Just like doesn't sound right. So, and again, when you're on the source like The Hill, like I know, sometimes they have decent stuff, but I always got to kind of massage what they've done to it. Supreme Court, though, they seem skeptical. And this is actually cool. I think I've got two little clips here, but they repeat this. So you're probably going to hear this twice. That said, there's some other good stuff coming up on the other one. And I don't think she plays this whole thing. All that said, we're going to lit this. But they're talking about the elections ending in Election Day. And Mississippi's the ones pushing this up, but this is going to have repercussions to many states. I think they were saying 20-ish. Plus minus, but we'll get there in a second, I think. But here is a couple questions, or one of the questions that was being asked, and I thought it was interesting. I think Gorsuch maybe, but anyway, check it out.
We have lots of phrases that involve two words, the second of which is day. Labor Day, Memorial Day, George Washington's birthday, Independence Day, birthday, and Election Day. And they're all particular days. So if we start with that, if I have nothing more to look at than the phrase Election Day, I think this is the day in which everything is going to take place, or almost everything. And then we have 3 points in time, 1844, 1872, 1914. And we can ask, what would people have thought on those days is meant by this phrase, Election Day? Which of those should we choose? Which of those dates should we choose?
Well, I think you could choose any of the three. I mean, honestly, I think the single best one, if you're just going to choose one, is 1872. And the reason I say that is because 1914 is the latest in time, but that's the one that Congress gave the least thought to.
Now, can I just say how important it is to note that he said, of the three dates, which day do you choose? And then he answered, well, all 3 days would be good, but chose a day. It's Christmas Day, it's New Year's Day, it's Memorial Day, it's Election Day, Easter Sunday. It's the way it's always been, right? Now, they're really trying to get into this. Well, states can do whatever they want when it comes to the elections. It's like, the manner, yes, but there's some factors there even too. But this whole idea that you can just change election laws and just have constant election ballots coming in and hold up everyone else and possibly affect outcomes of elections as a state because you're maybe doing some weird stuff. Like, there's a lot of components to where states shouldn't just be able to do whatever they want, because we've definitely got some very, 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 very corrupt states. California, Oregon, Washington, Illinois, New York, Maryland, Maryland. Who else? A bunch, probably, right? There's a few more I'm missing, right? Some bad ones. Some that want to be. We are in contentious times, to say the least. So here is a little more they're adding to this. I think you're going to hear some of what they just played again. Sorry, but there's some additional good stuff in here.
The justices are wrestling with a question about whether states can count ballots received after Election Day in a case that could have an impact in nearly 30 states that allow some kind of grace period. The RNC is challenging a Mississippi law that allows ballots to be counted up to 5 business days after Election Day if they're postmarked by Election Day. Justice Alito was among the biggest skeptics during Monday's arguments.
Independence Day, birthday, and Election Day, and they're all particular days. So if we start with that, if I have nothing more to look at than the phrase Election Day, I think this is the day in which everything is going to take place.
But Justice Kagan questioned the impact of that logic on practices like early voting.
It seems to me it's a rule that prevents early voting, because you're basically saying there are 2 things that have to happen, and they have to happen on Election Day.
Meaning the casting of the vote and the receipt of that vote. But attorney Paul Clement, representing the RNC, said the argument is that the process be consummated or completed by Election Day. A number of the justices also raised the issue of the potential for the appearance of fraud when votes arrive and are counted after Election Day. And there wind up being shifts in vote totals and how that may impact public confidence.
And again, the concept that is being brought before the justices is whether or not you can continue to count ballots after. Now, first off, if you're mailing a ballot and you mail it on Election Day, yeah, your vote don't count. You've had weeks to mail that or go in on Election Day, but no mailing on Election Day. That just, to me, is ridiculous because there's no chance it's going to get there in time. Zero. So either show up on Election Day or use the time beforehand. I got busy. I don't care. I don't give a shit. We're not going to make it easy to cheat in elections just because a few people are lazy. No, not happening. So again, this is a very interesting, and really the big argument is whether or not states can impose their own voting on the federal elections. In federal elections, there is some constitutional stuff federally governing it. When it's supposed to happen, which matters. So there's a lot of factors. There's like the first Tuesday after the first Monday of the whatever. Whatever. Republican California sheriff, the guy running for governor too, by the way, and wants to give illegals amnesty. It's probably to get votes. I get it. I hope that's not his plan, but saying it's not cool for those of us that are more worried about what Trump's doing and happy with that. But anyways, Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco, he went in because a third party said, we are pretty sure that they've got too many votes for how many ballots they have. And he's like, that's all I need. And he literally went in and took the ballots, which is cool as hell. I mean, cheers. If this dude finds fraud, if he finds fraud, because if he covers it up, which is my other concern, so I'm watching this very closely. Chad, you better do us right. Anyway, needless to say, well, no, that was needed to say. They started counting them. Then a judge, I think, said stop. Now the judge is like, you have to do it with us. So they're doing it with the judge, and they're counting again, supposedly. We'll see what happens here. Investigations into the irregularities must happen so that the public can have full confidence. Yeah, but I don't know if we're going to trust you, Chad, because of that comment you made. So if you find something, we will. Trust you. Might actually get my vote back. We'll see. I don't know. Donald Trump put this out. Truthed it. There's a very important special election tomorrow, today, Tuesday. And so if you're hearing this today and somehow didn't know this, any of these primaries or and these special elections are likely the most important elections we're going to have. Keep tabs on those. Like the one we have coming up in November, we're going to make a bunch of noise about and probably say, it's the most important election ever. I'm sure we're going to say that again. And it probably will be. Probably will be. It needs to be overwhelming, and we need to destroy the narrative and the deep state. So we have to have a giant red wave coming next year. But these primary ones are the ones where they can literally put their person into the slot, and then what? You're going to vote for them because of the stupid letter by their name? You will. Well, there's an R and there's a D. I guess I have to vote for the R. Well, that R was a primary, and he was put in by the deep state. You just put a deep stater in unwillingly, and your vote counted this time. How unfortunate is that? So primaries are super important. Palm Beach County, has a great representative, Meg Weinberger, hopefully she wins. I think that's his area too, so I would hope Trump would worry about his area. All right, some blues clues, or what I'm calling just funny blue state stupid stuff. I mean, this is just how ridiculous this stuff is right now. But this is, who is this? Joe Rogan. Yeah, Joe Rogan rips into Gavin Newsom for how he handled this Nick Shirley investigation into fraud, and I like it, so check it out.
The stuff that he just found in California is bonkers.
If you see that guy in your town, you're fucked.
Yeah.
He's a persistent little queef, that
Would
guy.
you see what the governor posted, what Newsom's press office posted? They posted a photo of Nick Shirley, like a fake Nick Shirley, like a meme, like Nick Shirley peeking into windows. Like, hey, he's doing your job. He's uncovering fraud, and what you're doing is mocking him?
Right. You should go, oh, shit, this fraud?
Yeah.
I'm the governor.
They should just open up the investigations into all these places immediately if you cared, but all they want to do is just obfuscate, cover it up, make it look silly.
Yeah.
Make it look like he's something, whatever he is, white supremacist.
Right. MAGA.
Nazi, whatever, MAGA. Come up with a name.
I don't want to get to it. My kid's at a Somali daycare right now, so I don't want to. I don't want to say anything crazy. But yeah, that was all kooky.
The stuff that he just found in California.
Yeah, it's just crazy. I actually wanted to make an inappropriate comment, and I basically forgot part of what he said, so it's good enough. But it made me laugh. It was like, wow, that is a funny way to look at that. Needless to say, if you guys caught the line, if you've ever experienced one of those. Anyway, I don't want to say it. It's okay. It made me laugh really hard though. Illegal alien charged with murdered 18-year-old. This guy's been, well, first off, he just recently came across illegally, and he was supposed to show up for a court case. And this was like 23. He came in. He has already been busted for shoplifting prior. That seems to be his only prior, at least that they were able to pull in. This last name is Medina. Okay, that seems redundant, but. Medina Squared said, yes, he killed this young lady, just walked up, I guess, or drove up to this group of people hanging out and just started shooting at him. Shot this young lady in the head. She died on the scene. Just, again, more illegal immigrants that shouldn't be here. He snuck into the country. They released him into the interior. He committed additional crimes and released him back on the street again. California grapples with staffing agency fraud amid oversight gaps. Weird thing they're doing here. They're charging sweet deals to the companies that are using them, so they're underselling legitimate staffing agencies. They're not actually providing benefits. They're not actually providing some of the stuff that people are supposed to get. Staffing agencies are always a little shady, to be honest with you. I've dealt with them on a couple occasions in my career, my life. It was never felt like good. And actually, I think once I got a job because of an agency, and outside of that, they just. For me, it's always been who I know. I've gotten to know somebody, and that's usually somebody that can get me in the door somewhere, right? It's always like, oh, where you work? That sounds fun. Are you hiring? It's like a job's better than no job, and it's so much easier to get a job when you got a job, right? So it's just a funny thing. Chicago approves a 19% hotel tax hike. It's funny when you put it that way. It's 19% percent hotel tax. Oh, that's what it's going up to. I'm sorry. It's going from 17.5% to 19%. It's a lot. A lot of states are doing this. Hawaii does it. I do think LA is doing this too. And so all these places that are like, places like Joe Rogan, I was watching something else he was saying, they're pissed off. No, it was Dana Carvey and the friend he's always with. But they were talking about how Hollywood's been ruined, and they want California to make all these sweet deals to try to bring Hollywood back. And it's just because all these guys are losing out on these opportunities. This stuff's gone to other countries where it's significantly cheaper to make movies. And you don't have to use unions, and you don't have to do a whole lot of things. And this is the thing that a lot of people on the left don't understand. You can price yourself out of a job. Well, the union says you got to do X, Y, and Z. Well, pretty soon you've got a company that's either A, investing in robots, or B, figuring out ways to, remove you somehow. It's a mess. And so what these blue cities are doing is creating a nightmare for themselves, and in many cases they are starting to crush themselves. They're going to try to get it through tourism, but then tourists will be like, would you want, any of you, like I would say if I did a poll like 5% of you would want to go to Chicago right now. You know, there's a lot of other places that would probably be a much better experience than going to Chicago. You know, you could probably find some place that does a decent imitation of their pizza if that's what you're after. Otherwise, stand in front of a fan. You got Chicago. It's the Windy City. It's fun to talk into him sometimes. I am Darth Vader. Anyway, Chicagoans fearing rent hike near the Obama Presidential Center. They've decided to unionize. This is just funny as hell to me. And it's funny. It's them attacking them. So I'm just even more funny in that regard. But tenants of a Chicago apartment building, they got some cheap-ass rent, I guess. It's like $700 to $800 a month. Maybe that's like normal rent. I don't know. To me, that seems cheap as hell. But it's going to go up a lot, probably, because it's right by Obama's little presidential thing. So they want to turn this into like a really nice like place. So they've literally offered all these tenants that are paying $700 to $800 a month. They've offered them $2,000 cash to move to GTFO. And so they formed a union. I'm assuming that's just a group of people, because I don't think there's any sort of way you can make a union as tenants. You're not an employee. This is so funny. But anyway, they're going after this nasty eyesore of, and it totally looks like the Disneyland, the something of terror. What do they call it? Tower of Terror. It looks just like it pretty much. It is very funny. That's what people have said, which implies to me that there's something about this shape that represents a Tower of Terror. Maybe this is where they hung people. Maybe this is one of the buildings they built back in the day where they would throw people into the pit, and you know, maybe there's who knows? Put it over volcanoes. I've got past life like karma for falling big time. I don't know if it's in the body or if it's in my soul. I assume it's my soul. My body, maybe too, but I feel like I've pissed enough people off in my overarching existence in this great time space that we live in. Mark Mullen's been confirmed by the Senate, by the way. 54-45. Fetterman's popped over to the other side. Good for you, Fetterman. I love you, buddy. I love you. Kind of hard to listen to sometimes. It's your brain thing, but I like you. Your heart is friggin' working properly, Scarecrow. Oklahoma he's not a scarecrow. That was mean to say. I love you, Fetterman. I'm sorry. That was very mean. That was mean. I actually felt bad about that. Sorry. I take it back. I'm not going to edit it out, though. It's staying in there. Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt. He tapped energy executive Alan Armstrong. He's going to replace Markwayne Mullen as in the Senate. So we got that until they get the election going. Hey, Oklahoma, keep tabs on that. Make sure you get someone good in there. Primary them, whatever you got to do. Get someone good in there. This is our chance to replace somebody, and maybe that's what Trump's doing. He's like, let me get this good guy out of there. We'll put someone else good in. I don't know. Two major examples of the deep state's fail. ICE is going to go in there and kill people. ICE is going to destroy people. ICE is going to go in and eat babies in the airports. Well, it's not exactly what's happening. It seems Southwest Florida Airport. Here's what's happening there.
And the wait line looks like this. In the couple of hours that I've been here, I've seen ICE officers patrolling, and the line has looked the same since I got here. Completely empty. So if you see wait times go down while you're traveling, you may just want to thank an ICE officer. Earlier this morning, travelers may have experienced a little bit of a wait time, but since I've been here, the lines seem to be moving fairly smooth.
And I guess if you look like her, maybe flash a boobie or something at an ICE officer. That's certainly, if it's a male, might be a great way to say thank you. Just flash a titty and say thank you. And just, it's like, whoa, that's illegal, ma'am. You're getting arrested, getting deported. That would be bad. You don't want to do that. Hey, you know what? They're doing the same thing, though, and they're forced to report it. Philadelphia Freedom. Good song by Elton John. Check it out.
But I do want to point out, this is an empty line right now. We are standing in the middle where travelers come to check in for TSA. Yesterday, this was all the way back to the garage. So good news today, lines aren't too bad. We're live from PHL. Brianna Gallagher, Channel 6 Action News. Hey, good morning, Matt. Good news if you are traveling here this morning. Right now in Terminal A East, lines aren't that bad, but as you mentioned, ICE agents, they have arrived here at PHL. For the most part, we've been seeing them hanging back. However, they have been also assisting travelers as need be. I do want to point out that the agents aren't wearing masks. President Trump says while he is okay with ICE agents wearing masks during immigration enforcement raids, he does not want them doing so at the airports. Now, as long lines and delays continue due to the partial government shutdown, union reps with TSA says each day is getting worse. 1st. They have been working without pay for more than a month now. More than 400 have quit and thousands have called out across the country, many in order to work second jobs or because they cannot afford necessities like travel or childcare while getting unpaid. In response to this, President Trump has sent hundreds of ICE agents to 14 airports. Philadelphia is one of them. The difference is that ICE agents will be paid due to money from the so-called One Big Beautiful Bill Act. And this is despite the funding fight in Washington revolving over how ICE operates.
I think it's disappointing that we're paying for ICE agents to stand next to a door when we're not paying for TSA agents to pay their rent.
They're here for a reason. They're here to probably keep people safe and everything. I don't know if standing around in a circle is really doing much, but that's on them. You know what I mean?
What have they been doing?
Standing around. Don't seem doing a whole lot of anything.
They've been very friendly and they've greeted us at each time we've been at a different stop.
I think it's totally unnecessary. It's my opinion. I don't know. I just think it kind of makes you a little nervous just seeing them around.
Once again, ICE agents have arrived here in Philadelphia, but I do want to point out this is an empty line right now. We are standing in the middle where travelers come to check in for TSA. Yesterday, this was all the way back to the garage. So good news today, lines aren't too bad. We're live from PHL. Brianna Gallagher, Channel 6 Action News.
And like they said, Homan and Trump, or Homan specifically, we are going to put them in the places where TSA agents were usually wasted. How many times have you seen TSA agents just walking through the airport doing God knows what? Or even driving the stupid golf cart, right? Thing's annoying as hell, right? You almost want to throw yourself in front of it, just sit down on the ground and be like, what are you going to do? Protest! But they don't probably just run you over, frankly. Let's be honest. Apparently a radical activist was arrested today. Made a lot of noise. People started freaking out. Supposedly had a child with her, but she couldn't prove in any sort of way, shape, or form that child was her. Like, she didn't even have any photos, maybe even in her phone of her and the child, growing up, anything like that. Nothing, no evidence at all. So possibly child trafficking being thwarted at the moment. And one can wonder if that's actually part of the bigger plan. Again, 5D chess, folks. 5D always. As I tell people frequently, most people are looking at individual specific things through a microscope and saying, this is what everything's made of. When in reality, it's not. You need to step up to the 40,000-foot view. You've got to look at all the things happening simultaneously, understanding the overall big picture of what we're trying to do, and then assess it from there. And when you do that, you see a lot more things. You see other things, you start thinking of other things that are unrelated to maybe something very interesting that's happening right now. Epstein's just such a great example. There are things that literally cause people to go down rabbit holes and stay underground forever rather than being up at the 40,000-foot level. That analogy works beautifully because that's what's happening. So yeah, this young lady or old lady, it's hard to tell. Brown don't crack. This is Rick Scott talking about the Democrats. Says screw off. I hope he actually says it. It's highlighted or it's capitalized. Must be what he says. I hope. It's not the dadgum guy. That'd be funnier than shizzle. But anyway,
we have. You don't have a monitor, but right below you it says senators near deal to end shutdown. Yesterday, the word was that President Trump rejected the deal to end the shutdown, which would have funded. I think it's the same as what we're talking about today. Funded everything else, TSA and DHS. Everything but ICE. And apparently it's in the works and it's going to happen. Is it?
Well, we'll see. We'll see if it happens. Does it make any sense to you that the people that are getting rid of the criminals that are killing women in our country, they're not going to get funded in this bill? And the Democrats have said they want to use this as an opportunity to get amnesty.
Yeah, that notwithstanding,
Yeah, he did not say screw off, so that's very disappointing. But that would have been rad. So lost a little faith there, Sergeant. All said, whatever. Does it make any sense? People killing a women getting funded in the bill. Yeah, he's not saying screw off. I trusted. That's where it hurts. It hurts when you trust and breaks it like that. Judge appoints prosecutor to replace Alina Habba as the new U.S. attorney in New Jersey. They're going to get fired immediately. If they haven't already, I would assume immediately they got fired. So whatever. It's not. This is because this feels like it's the second time. They did this once already and immediately got fired. Yeah, March 23rd. So all right. So they probably got fired already. If not, They'll be fired soon. Chuck Grassley says the Senate Judiciary Committee is going to be releasing 2 subpoenas from former special counsel Jack Smith on the now FBI Director Kash Patel's phone records from Arctic Frost. The records were released ahead of a hearing by the Senate Judiciary Subcommittee on Federal Courts, Oversight, Agency Action, and Federal Rights. This happened at 10:15 a.m. Tuesday, so it's my time, 10:15, oddly, right now. But yes, not there. But needless to say, it's already happened. Grassley's prepared opening remarks for the hearing. Records included a wish list, blah, blah, blah. But Smith's team named 14 members of Congress, some of which are on that seat, on that thing. So one of the things that's kind of fun about this particular story, like, again, 40,000-foot view, but here's like a little hot spot. You got all these senators that are butthurt that they got spied on. They don't give a flying fuck about the fact that we all got spied on. Yeah, fuck you, senators. You guys are worthless. You are fucking worthless. You're worried about yourself. All right, so I'm going to hop out of that joke. Now, let me get back up to the 40,000-foot view. This is just the senators and members of Congress realizing they're kind of one of us too. Well, look at that. You're not special. Bastards. They need to know that. So, according, we got some newly released documents by Senator Grassley's office. It appears Special Counsel Jack Smith conferred with both D.C. Chief Judges Beryl Howell, that's a name you should remember, and James Boasberg as to their legal strategy in targeting the president and his associates. This is why these 2 judges are going out of their way to stop Trump at every possible effort. And here's the thing. That's impeachable. I'm almost sure, not a legal scholar, but if there's not an impeachment offense somewhere buried in there, that sure feels illegal when you're finding ways to actually screw somebody just because you don't politically like them. That's not good. Not good at all. So, we'll see. Again, exciting movie. It's fun. Russia, they're halting ammonium nitrate. So, the fertilizer thing is like going into effect. They are holding fertilizer hostage. This is an interesting little conundrum. This is going to affect it's going to affect the Western world a lot. And this is a significant problem. Now, ammonium nitrate can be used for other things too, by the way. So, might not just be the fertilizer side. Maybe they're going to repurpose it for fertilizer, because I believe that can be used in explosives. So, I mean, maybe solid rocket fuel. I would assume ammonium nitrate is one of the components of making solid rocket fuel. Just saying that probably. I'm going to say. So, yeah, prove me wrong. I'm sure I am. Wright and Lutnick unveil $33 billion gas-fired mega project in Ohio. I think it's like 10 different power generation facilities there or something. They're expecting about 10 gigawatts. That's a butt ton of energy. That's pretty cool. This is to help for a data center. Now, again, this is what we have coming. People are too busy looking out at each other and their neighbors and all this stuff rather than up. That's all I can say. It's coming. Now, I don't think it's going to be a war. I actually don't think it's going to be that. I think the war capacity part of it has already been handled. So I think, once again, it's not going to be what they're preparing for. But from the standpoint of not sure, and Israel, because this very much ties into the return of Yahweh. Let's call it that. The return of Yahweh is coming again. And this is going to, confuse many, I think, frankly. But this is going to be an interesting time. So we'll see. I don't think this is going to go anything like the fear porn people are fearing. We're on a totally different timeline. And anyway, it'll be interesting. It'll be fun. I think golden age is very near. Trump admin strikes a deal with the energy firm to stop these offshore wind plans. This is some France company. They found another thing that they could invest in, some natural gas projects down in Texas. And they're like, all right, we'll invest in that. Because that's ultimately what they wanted, is a return on investment. We're like, we'll make you more money on these gas projects. How does that sound? And they're like, well, that sounds actually better. Yeah, there you go. End of story. Now, there's a major explosion in Texas at a refinery. Valero Refinery, interesting. Valero, I believe, is the one that left California recently, or shuttered one of their facilities recently. If not, it's almost... Anyway, it's one of the ones in the news recently here in California. That was in their Port Arthur facility, west side of the plant. I guess this part of the refinery was sort of somewhat shut down, but it was over by the cracker of it. And all said, a giant explosion. I don't think we have an actual... So I guess we got that. Yeah, they're obviously very close. I don't think they show anything from it, but that was a Ring doorbell, I guess. Damn. What else? Yeah, so lots of fire, it's pretty bad. But it is interesting. I was just talking yesterday about how, and here we are in the United States with no issues. So that was not nice. That's why you don't do stuff like that. You just I jinxed you guys. I jinxed Texas. I'm sorry. That was my fault. Sorry, guys. I think it was anyways. Oops. So I won't do that again. But, yeah, Texas got a little bit of sabotage possibly happened. Oh, yeah, never say never, those types of things. And, yeah, I jinxed the shit out of that. That's totally my fault. Sorry, guys. Totally my fault. For anybody that lives out in, wherever that Arthur Port or wherever the shit that was. Where was it again? Something different. I just lost my place. Good job, Dan. You're not a very bright man. There you go. White House reaches tentative crypto regulatory agreement. This just has to do with how the stablecoin works, which I actually thought about, because I'm not pro crypto in any way, shape, or form. I think it's retarded, but I mean, people that do it, it's an investment. You can make money on it. I just think the concept of it's retarded. That said, it's something that does need some rules, so people can't just do whatever, because there's been a lot of people that have gotten busted stealing from these funds, which is not cool, right? You're buying a coin thinking, I'm equal partnership with everybody, but they're actually skimming like 10% off the top, no matter what you buy. So, yeah, they're putting some rules together. Personally, I don't care about crypto. Apollo caps private credit fund withdrawals as requests hit 11%. Yeah, this is one of those things where people are going to start having a hard time getting out of systems, folks. It's going to be a little weird. And as it accelerates, they will tighten, and it's just going to happen that way. Today has been interesting. Well, it was. There was way up earlier. What the hell's going on? Like when I started recording, which was not that long ago, it was way up. Let's come back down, huh? What is going on? Everything's tripping too. Yeah, gold was slightly up even. Price of oil is at 93.16. So that's what's been the whole thing. Is oil's been having a little day because supposedly the talks that Trump's having isn't necessarily accomplishing what he wants. This is what they want us to believe. And again, these numbers are all manipulated on the screen. Don't think for a second that I actually think there's any legitimacy to them. I mean, I think gold and silver gold is representative of typically inflation. I think right now there's some weird shenanigans going on because it's moving way too much in such a short period of time. But, we'll see how it plays out in the end. But silver's a whole different thing all unto itself, and that's going to be changing as well. Crypto is having an interesting, it's crashed even harder. And it took a long time for Bitcoin to catch up. Again, it's just weird the way money's moving right now. It's very, 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 very strange. Price of oil has got this weird effect. And maybe a lot of this is like Saudi money and stuff like that. I don't know, but you would think companies like them or countries like them would be heavier, more money. So maybe it's, Europe right now because they're paying insane money through gas taxes. I don't know. I don't. That's one thing I'm not a big enough magic ball reader. See, the Bitcoin one just does not want to update. There, it's finally going to go, I think. And there it goes. So 69, it's at. So it was at 74, I think, recently. But today is having a pretty tough day. $1,500 down. Again, gold, silver, about as affordable as they're going to be. I think once we get through this little moment in time, we're going to get back to, the problem at hand, which is the huge inflation in the Federal Reserve and the problems we've got there. Protect your money, protect your wealth, so you don't have to worry about it while we go through this major hiccup, because stockholders are going to have a hard time. And inflation is taking a bite out of your Federal Reserve notes every single day, which is what your whole entire portfolio is based on, is Federal Reserve notes. How many stock prices at what dollar amount? That's what you hold. That's your thing. Well, when you buy precious metals and move it tax-free and penalty-free, by the way, sideways, you don't get to touch it, but you move it sideways, tax-free, penalty-free. And it goes straight into precious metals. It buys literally physical precious metals. Again, you can't touch them because otherwise that's payment. And they put that into like a trust, and they put that into basically a vault, and it's yours. It's your precious metals. They're yours. DRSlikesgold.com. DRSlikesgold.com. Goldco can do it. Like I said, tax-free, penalty-free. Also, up to 10% free silver. And when you put in the 4 data points, if you're somebody that's got a legitimate 401k or IRA, and I don't know all the exact rules, but it's basically roughly that, and you can call within 20 minutes, they're going to give you a cool little half-ounce Ronald Reagan coin. It's Ronald Reagan saluting. It's a half-ounce silver, 0.999% pure. The U.S. Treasury printed it, or minted it, I should say. It's a beautiful coin. Go to DRSlikesgold.com. DRSlikesgold.com. Get out of that system. Protect your buying power. Protect your wealth before they take it from you. All right, I want to call this a rant. It's kind of not a rant. All right, I want you guys all to watch this closely because we've talked a lot about this. There's been a few videos, frankly, that were put out that showed Netanyahu that were obviously AI. And we say obviously because people like us were able to notice. There's places where he had an extra finger on his hand, a place where his ring kept disappearing. There's just stuff that was fakery, AI, typical AI type stuff. It just has a hard time with some of those things. Now, when you think about it, who are the people that would notice that? Normies? Honestly, would normies notice a finger appearing and disappearing? Would they be even looking? Or are they already distracted by the right hand shaking over here while the left hand's doing crazy stuff? They probably wouldn't notice, would they? The people that would notice would be autists, people on our side, people in the Q community, probably specifically. So that is what that effort was aimed at. That was the audience. Our little Q group. Then the question would be, why? Now, a lot of people in the Q group, they say, because they wanted us to figure it out so we could tell the public. No, that can't be it. And here's why. Here's why it can't be that. Because if they wanted everybody to think something, they'd actually put a story out suggesting that. They'd make that their story. They'd push that so people thought it. You don't use some weird subtle thing unless you're looking for a very specific set of people who are then going to assume and prognosticate that Benjamin Netanyahu is now dead. Now, whether he is or isn't, I don't know. But a bunch of people, because of an AI video, because the video was fake, that means, in their minds, that Netanyahu is dead. And it by no means means that. This is what I wish people would get better at understanding. If you see a video that was created that's AI, and obviously AI, because real intelligence agencies, you wouldn't be able to tell. But if it's obviously AI, then it serves a purpose. And what it's probably serving a purpose for is getting people that are on the Q movement to talk about something that's ultimately going to be proven incorrect at some point. And then who looks the fool? Now, the other part of this that's frustrating is once somebody decides, they created AI of him, he's dead, I know that. And then they start to extrapolate with that new fact. So everything they look at from there on out has to be filtered through that prism. It's extraordinarily dangerous. You are missing so much if you've made your mind up about something that you literally can't prove. And to run it to one extreme to another, and then we're going to play this, the flat earth. None of us know if it's round or not. There's a couple experiments that have been done here on both sides, by the way, that proves the point to them. But none of you know. So many of you think you do, though, and thusly have extrapolated. But you don't really know. It's an idea. It's something you think. It's your hypothesis. It's not for sure. Unless you can experience it, taste, touch it yourself, I would never, ever, personally, I never assume it's real until I actually see it in my real life. And it's one of the reasons that religions have controlled people with what's going on, especially. It's the way they've controlled people for millennia. They've talked about something that nobody witnessed, that's extraordinary, that you have to believe. And when you do, it changes this whole thing, this whole dynamic. And now you're in line with this thinking. So here's the video he put out. I don't know if it's real. I watched it carefully a couple times. I personally couldn't see anything that made it look like AI. Don't know.
מוקדם יותר היום שוחחתי עם ידידנו הנשיא טראמפ. הנשיא טראמפ מאמין שיש סיכוי למנף את ההישגים הכבירים של צה"ל וצבא ארצות הברית כדי לממש את יעדי המלחמה בהסכם. הסכם שישמור על האינטרסים החיוניים שלנו. במקביל, אנחנו ממשיכים לתקוף גם באיראן וגם בלבנון. אנחנו קודשים את תוכנית הטילים ותוכנית הגרעין עד דק וממשיכים לפגוע קשות בחיזבאללה. רק לפני ימים אחדים חיסלנו עוד 2 מדעני גרעין והיד עוד נטויה. אנחנו נשמור על האינטרסים החיוניים שלנו בכל מצב. מוקדם יותר היום...
Now, I want you all to understand, those of you that are taking this with an open mind, I appreciate you. Thank you. For those of you that are Dan, yeah, that's probably not AI, but that's a fake. That's a double. We know, everybody knows there's doubles. I'll say it for you. But here's the thing, and this is the problem, and this is why I think they did this. Is because you have a belief, and now everything that happens has to be filtered through that belief. And your belief is he's dead. So the fact that there's a video that doesn't look like it's AI, that looks like him, it has to be a fake, or a fake him, right? And that's the problem we've run into. And that's why we've got so many weird theories out there that people insist are accurate. And in most cases, it's because somebody told you something. And they said they had credentials. So you believe them. And you assume that's fact. I would be very careful, folks. There is a lot of things that are not real in this world that we believe in. All right, that's, I think, my rant. Sorry if it pissed anyone off. Didn't mean to. I know some people just think it's too long, but I'm trying to help you guys. Hold the flashlight. Trying my best. Arrivederci, they say. Police think hard left anarchist bomb makers accidentally blew themselves up. I just think it's funny. A couple dudes out in some farmy thing, in like a barn or whatever, and they were mixing some explosive stuff, cooking it, I guess, and it went boom and killed them both. Somebody noticed it like a day later because it was so far away from people, nobody heard it. They saw some debris, if you will, just to say like they would. And there was a body they saw. Like, oh, no. And they called the police, and the popo went out there and showed up. Well, one of the dudes, they had unique tattoos, so they knew who they were. But one of the dude's arm was literally completely blown off. Whoops. So, needless to say, 2 people that were probably really bad dudes in the area, especially making explosives and looks like possibly teaching someone younger. And yeah, they killed themselves. Funny moment. I don't know anything about this dude. Maybe he's a really good guy, John Daly, whatever. He looks like a dick in this picture, and he certainly looks very out of shape. But I mean, he's a golfer, so maybe it's a good thing. If you can get your belly like fat to actually transition through the club, literally. I'm not trying to be a dick. That's actually legit. If you can get the belly fat to come through at the same time, that's actually more momentum. So cheers on you. I just noticed when I get fatter, it's really hard to even put my shoes on and shit, right? So I don't know what's going on. I don't know what to say. But this is kind of funny. And, sorry, John. I don't mean to laugh at you, but I kind of do. Anyway, this is John down here. We kind of don't, we don't get to see I wish we had a better camera view of this, but nonetheless, this is funny as hell. some video of an alligator just twisting around. I'm just kidding. That would be mean, Mr. Daly. Or Daly, I think it is. Pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. Though I gotta be careful. Someone will tell me I'm stupid. Still bitter. Alleged Iranian spies are already in the U.S. and infiltrating Silicon Valley. So they actually got busted. These two suspects are sisters. Anyways, yeah, I don't want to try that. Samane and Sorvor. She'll probably get mad if you don't say it properly, like Bita used to. And she was Persian. It's Bita. I'm sorry, Bita. It's Bita. All right, got you. All right, yep. I don't know the difference, what she's saying. Anyway, it was funny as hell. We'd mess with her. Anyway, FCC bans foreign-made wireless routers. Just so you know, there's a whole bunch of them that are bad too, but TP-Link is one of the worst. They're more worried about brand spanking new ones, so be careful, but they're banning a bunch of these. They've come to find out they are major security risks, especially the new ones. So, no longer allowed to buy TP-Link. Netgear, I think, is pretty much off the case. Asus, Amazon, Alphabet, Cisco, Linksys, D-Link, and many others. And that's like all you guys are like, wait, what other wireless routers are there? That's a good question. I don't know if there are any. So this might be a great business opportunity for anybody that wants to not make one that's horrible. Here is some news, I think, for a lot of the people that have served our wonderful country and the reinstatements for the COVID firings that shouldn't have happened. So check this out.
Today in this video, as we said we would, I want to update you on our efforts to reinstate those service members who were unjustly forced out of the military during the COVID-19 panic. While I'm proud of our efforts over the past year, our obligations to make things right are not yet complete. I'm therefore extending the application of the department's reinstatement and return to service guidance established last April. The revised guidance will now apply to former service members, our warriors of conscience, who wish to return to service through April 1st of 2027. So we're extending this to make sure anybody that wants to take advantage of it has additional time to take advantage of it. Maybe you were waiting to see whether we meant it or not. We do. We hope you'll take a look. To further encourage the return of experienced and dedicated service members, effective immediately, the active service obligation for individuals returning to service under this guidance is now reduced from 4 years to 2 years. And this change reflects our confidence that returning members will make an immediate and positive impact and aligns our reinstatement policy with the needs of both the service members and the military services. Maybe for some 4 years felt like too much, given what had been done to them. We hope, too, entices warriors of conscience to come back. This modification will be incorporated into all future reinstatement agreements. And this policy change also applies to those service members who have already been reinstated and committed to a 4-year service obligation. So it's across the board. And given this policy modification, and to ensure that everyone whose career was cut short under the COVID-19 vaccine mandate receives the respect they deserve, I direct the secretaries of the military departments, the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force, within 60 days to once again recontact those who have not rejoined already and inform them of this new information and this new opportunity. We are working hard every single day. It's our commitment to you to right the wrongs and correct the injustices of the Biden administration.
It's quite a lot, that's for sure, obviously, because there was a lot of malfeasance that happened during those times. America's top war unicorn is going to begin combat drone production as next-gen startups challenge big defense primes. I think to put it in a nutshell, this is essentially, this is like the F-47 is supposed to have these little fighters that fly with it. I think this is the guy that got the deal. Check this out. Hopefully this is the one.
Anduril Industries will begin building its new high-speed combat drone Fury in the coming days at a new facility in Ohio. Conflicts in Ukraine and Iran highlight the growing battlefield role of unmanned aircraft, drawing increased U.S. military interest. The Fury is Anduril's entrant for the U.S. Air Force's Collaborative Combat Aircraft program, part of an Air Force plan for a next-generation family of systems. It aims to equip crewed fighter jets and other planes with an uncrewed platform flying alongside them, like a loyal wingman. Here's Anduril Senior Vice President for Production, Keith Flynn.
What we're seeing is just a hyper growth, basically driven by two things. One, just the needs for these new products. Like if you look right now, we don't have anything like Fury, and so there is a new need that we are filling in. And then two, a lot of the areas that we're getting into, and it's really being driven by the needs of modern conflict, is like, how do we bring scale? Like there is a quality to quantity all on its own. And so how do we actually go do that? Which just means like producing at higher volumes than has traditionally been done for these products within the defense space.
Anduril is one of new but growing group of small defense firms hoping to win Pentagon contracts for next-generation weapons. Production of the company's autonomous aircraft will be the first to launch at their $1 billion manufacturing facility dubbed Arsenal One. Officials say the defense startup expects to employ roughly 250 people by the end of this year, growing to more than 4,000 over the next decade.
You know, it's funny. It's very cool technology that's coming out, and then I'm such a retard. But like the way this gentleman was talking, it's funny because like this is one of those things. Just like I hear people do this. I don't know if you guys are ever like this, but it's one of those like my whole life I've been into like broadcasting and stuff, so I pay a lot of attention to weird things. But it's funny is people that end on a high note. So I was talking the other day, and I wasn't sure if this was right. You know, like he sort of does it. Listen to this guy; it's kind of funny.
Just the needs for these new products. Like if you look right now, we don't have anything like Fury, and so there is a new need that we are filling in.
Anything that's filling in? Don't have anything like Fury? Like, it's just weird. I don't know what it is. And the only people I've ever known, like I have a very good friend that I used to work with, and that she's like a project man. She's just an expert. She's just awesome. And she's always talking to people all the time. But she's been beat up on a lot, and I know what she's been through. She's had some very sexist bosses. The company I worked for was very strange. Anyway, a lot of that went on. And it created a confidence issue with her, and it was just one of the things I always knew about her. She's a brilliant lady, and I was a subordinate. She wasn't my boss, but she was above me, if you will. She was considered the bigger expert. I was the next expert, but she was, yeah. So anyway, she used to talk like that, and it always used to trip me out. Anyway, just side salad. I shouldn't do it. General McKenzie, top commander during Afghan debacle in 2021. He's been named the president of the Citadel. This feels weird to me. This kind of reeks of the Citadels, maybe not the best group of colleges, and I'm curious to see if this is brought up again by Trump or Hegseth or anybody like that. This is not like West Point or Annapolis, but these are, I guess, 6 colleges that have special strategic relationships with the War Department. The Army ROTC says the senior military colleges offer a 4-year college experience with a full-time corps of cadets. So Lords of Discipline and all this different kind of stuff. All that said, this guy, General Frank McKenzie, was in charge of the Afghan withdrawal. Why is he getting this kind of promotion, and is he the kind of person that should be there, right? He was affiliated with a failure. That doesn't seem like we want that, right? Wasn't that like Napoleon? What was the one that was, I feel like there's, the history. My history is not that great. You guys know that. But anyway, Japanese automaker Toyota just announced an additional $1 billion. One thing I think is super cool about this is the Prime Minister of Japan, and Trump is seating her. I love that. He is a classy gentleman. That's all there is to it. Like people trip. Like for me, I always open the door and stuff. Like they're like, who does that anymore? I'm like, I don't know. I always do. I was brought up right. You open the door. It's for ladies, dudes. They can open his own damn door. Canadian companies fear major losses if Cuban communist regime falls. This is what's funny is the dude's name. First off, Cuban Deputy Foreign Minister Carlos Fernandez de Casio Dominguez. Cuban Deputy Foreign Minister. He's in Canada, and he's like, look, here's the thing. He said this Friday. He's like, if you guys let this communist regime in Havana fail, Canadian companies could lose billions from nullified contracts if the regime fails. This is what he's worried about. We should help prop up this communist government south of America, where we're smashing them communist style from the north. Not you Canadian people, of course. You guys are amazing, but you're deep state assholes that run your country. Probably can't travel there now, too. Shit. Keep ruining my possibilities of going anywhere on the planet. Anyway, I don't want to say that. Anyway, Russian-linked arms trafficker corrupt African officials tried to supply Mexican cartel with surface-to-air missiles. Just the story more than should be more of course, dude. Duh. Think of all the weapons that we sold Ukraine, that Ukraine then sold on the black market. Think of who bought those. Everyone's like, well, it'd be the Taliban and all that. They don't have any money. I mean, some of them did, but Iran was kind of broke. Now the freaking cartels are rich as shit. Who do you think was buying all that stuff? They've got some stuff down there. Now, they're talking about ZSU 23s and shit like that, which is like Vietnam, Korean War era stuff. I mean, that's like, I mean, it's a pretty awesome anti-aircraft thing at short range. So I think it's manual sights even, though. I mean, maybe they've got them automated now, I would hope. I mean, for a weapons platform, if you could automate it and get it to like aim perfectly, I mean, that'd be kind of cool. It's capable in that regard. Anyway, Colombian Air Force C-130 cargo plane carrying 110 soldiers crashed. It was like 60 people that died or something around there. I apologize for not having the exact number in my head. Maybe I've got the story. I don't know, but I think you can kind of see it here, which is, you don't see it blow up, but you see it not making it. Oh no, it lost power. Oh no. Yeah, and it's listing or whatever you call it that does that. Oh no. Yeah. It lost power. I can't figure out who to mute, me or it. That's a bummer. Oh, shucks. Yeah, apparently in Australia, I had this under Don Rowe doctrine, by the way, for any of my Aussies down under. I'm putting you guys in our poll, man. We ain't letting you go. You're our fucking mates, man. You guys are awesome as shit. I love you all. And the Kiwis, if you guys want to be a part of it. I know you got a crazy-ass leadership in your country. I don't know how liberal y'all are and habit. These guys are generally super quiet and chill. I worked for a Kiwi company. I was just the nicest people down there, both countries. They're totally different, Aussies and Kiwis, and they talk kind of the same. A couple things, like fish and chips is a good one. That's like the one you're supposed to ask them, and then you can tell them apart. I think, was it fish and chips? If you're Australian, and then fish and chips or whatever. If you're Kiwi, they say it slightly different. That's like the only thing, I think. There's a few other things probably, but tell me I'm wrong. I got a couple Aussie friends out there. I don't know if I got any Kiwis watching me. Might be against the law. Can't do that. I've made fun of that male prime minister you guys had, the girl with the wiener part. I don't know, whatever that was. I don't know how to properly say that. Ukrainian troops testing exoskeletons that help them run 12 miles per hour on the battlefield and carry more ammo against Russia. So essentially, they can't afford vehicles anymore, but they got the bionics going on. So now we can just run shit out to the front lines instead of drive it because, you know, aren't you kind of vulnerable when you're just running? A drone can smoke you that way too, right? Chinese container ship is the first to pay Iran for safe passage. So even China's got to pay to get through, which is interesting. Strait of Hormuz stuff. I don't know. We're hearing kind of mixed stuff. This is also a story from yesterday. So we'll see how things continue to play out. We're hearing a mixture of stuff. Israel, Mossad promised it could ignite regime change in Iran. That failed to happen. Whether this is true, it's coming from a New York Times report. And again, it's who's leaking this, who's saying it, this is just interesting. But this does, to me, feel like something Mossad would have said, yeah, we can guarantee regime change. We got this. And Trump was probably like, all right, if you guys think it's that easy, I don't know. Our intelligence disagrees. And they're like, oh, no. You guys don't know. We've got people on the ground. We're there. We got so many people inside. And Trump would probably be like, I mean, it's a point. They should know better. But, and part of the learning process, or I think to be more fair, because I don't think Trump's learning this, I think he knows it. Part of the process is getting proof, actionable evidence that you can use as a means of saying, hey, look, we're gonna take a step back from this for a second. So I think a lot of things are playing out, again, 40,000 foot level. A lot of things are playing out the way they are supposed to. They got to play out the speed they play out. And all of us got to watch it and talk about it and all that shit. Iran's flex of long-range ballistic missiles, one, vindicates Trump. Two, kind of freaked out Europe a little bit. These intercontinental or intermediate range ballistic missiles Their ranges are pretty significant. The fact that they were able to go 2,000 plus miles. I'm not sure where it was launched. I'm assuming they know that specifically. Maybe it was right on the coast. Maybe it wasn't. So again, this is something where they're telling us one thing, and they probably told them, they're like, dude, they launched this from Tehran, you guys. Or they launched, well, probably not. Tehran's way north compared to Diego Garcia. But whatever. Because it's a ballistic missile. I guess they could trunk launch maybe those two. It's all the same. But yeah. Iranian missiles pound Israel overnight, so they're still attacking each other. They're just not supposed to hit energy infrastructure, which was what Trump's post said. There's a lot of people that immediately started saying, Trump said there'd be a ceasefire. That's not what he said. I shared his exact words. That's not what he said. He said, we won't attack your energy structure or infrastructure for 5 days. That's what he said. Those were his words, not anything else. He didn't imply something. He didn't mean something. No, he said something. These people cracked me up. Immediately, I saw people already misquoting it. Immediately. Telephone game is so much fun. Even people I respect that normally do a much better job. And I'm like, oh, can't believe you didn't. First time I read it, kind of thought the same thing. Oh, really? Not going to fight anymore? And then I read it again. I'm like, it's totally not what he said. So, yeah, the 100-kilogram warhead that was used on the Iranian missile that slammed into Tel Aviv early this morning, significant damage was apparently caused from that. So they've got only so many weapons. And I think a lot of these might be prepackaged. But they're using them. Iran, I guess, we're hearing, is worried that Trump is trying to negotiate with him or have discussions with him because he's trying to figure out either A, who's in charge, or B, where they're at. I'm like, what are you wearing right now? And so, yeah, just so they can smoke him. Which, I don't know, maybe. I mean, Israel would, if Israel's like, yeah, no, we want to talk to you about peace and stuff, you'd be like, oh, okay. You'd get smoked the second they knew where you were at. Or they'd hand you a device. Hey, talk to us on this phone. Oh, okay. Right? That'd be horrible. So I guess there's some fun little age verification thing. Telegram's doing a version of it so UK doesn't get pissed. I don't know if this is everywhere. I hope not. I hope this is just people that have to live in UK. But what I think is funny is how this is just, you're creating a database of children, and these children are going to get like molested by people on these sites. They're going to be marked specifically as underage and will literally be targeted because of what we're trying to do. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. Nobody understands that is exactly the point of why we're doing age verification. We must protect the kids though, Dan. I get you. How you do that is by not letting them use the app until they're old enough. That's how you do that. You do not expect a software company to protect your child. That's all I can say. Any other ways? I'm curious. I'm open to hear what great ideas somebody has about how the software company who's trying to make money off advertising and everything else, why they should be trusted to, because cigarettes companies told us their smokes were not dangerous. Must be true. Apparently all these spring break drunken flash mobs that are happening are causing all sorts of problems. All sorts of problems. And they're just happening immediately. Messaging apps, they say like WhatsApp, is causing all this. I think it's just kind of funny when they are pointing out. I mean, this is one of those things where they're going to get people on our side of the fence to justify more draconian spying techniques. Now, they're already spying on us. They don't need to. But again, I laugh at how it works. I mean, I'm somewhat playing a part in this, but I am talking about what I think they're trying to do to us. Jello shots, yes, please. Anyway, yeah. Wow, that person, dang, dude, the sun is going to kill you. You better have lotion on, or that's just some weird shadow you're in. I don't know what's going on, you poor thing. That is going to suck for her. This is kind of interesting, and then we'll finish off on this one. I'm not going to close out until after, but NASA's chief Isaacman is unveiling plans for permanent U.S. moon base. I think this is fascinating stuff. I know there's a segment of the population that doesn't think this is possible, so whatever.
Despite some of the very real hardware and schedule challenges, we can repurpose equipment and international partner commitments to support surface and other program objectives. It's worth pointing out that shifting NASA workforce priority to the surface, which has lots of advantages for safety, tech demonstration, and science, it's really the proving ground for future Mars initiatives, does not preclude revisiting the orbital outpost in the future. We will build the moon base in 3 phases. Phase 1 endeavors to support industry by moving from infrequent, bespoke efforts to a templated approach that will generate significant learning through experimentation. We will dramatically expand lunar landings through the CLIPS and the LTV program, delivering rovers, instruments, and technology payloads that test mobility, power systems, such as working with international partners and industry on the production of RUs and RTGs, communications, navigation, surface operations, and all the science payload that can be incorporated. Phase 2 transitions from experimentation to semi-habitable infrastructure and routine logistics with the aim of supporting regular astronaut operations on the surface. It's at this point we anticipate seeing the significant contributions from our great partners like JAXA's pressurized rover. Phase 3 takes advantage of the affordable mass-to-surface capabilities that cargo HLS will inevitably provide in the years ahead and enables the permanent infrastructure necessary to sustain a human presence, such as Italy's proposed habitation module. The moon base will not appear overnight. We will invest approximately $20 billion over the next 7 years and build it through dozens of missions, working together with commercial and international partners towards a deliberate and achievable plan. Just as there was Mercury and Gemini before Apollo, there will be an evolutionary path to building humanity's first permanent surface outpost beyond Earth. And we will take the world along with us as they follow along on the NASA Moonbase website and watch the assembly through lunar relay and observation satellites.
It's going to be cool as heck. And I think this is one of the things where I've been talking about. A lot of countries have to catch up their technology so they can help with this. And then there is an interesting timing component. And maybe this is part of the Golden Dome, or maybe this ties into some of the disclosure we might find out about the moon, or maybe, who knows, any number of things might come from this. Maybe we'll just find out something weird altogether. I don't know. I can't wait to find out. Certainly got my hopes, right? Nothing wrong with having a little bit of hope in the game, but at the same time, I don't know. I mean, I know what I believe, but I also know some of the craft and stuff is unnecessary. But I think it's about building group consensus and the group consciousness, being able to accept that there's now, like we're now able to do warp speed, and then suddenly someone's going to come talk to us like that Star Trek movie. Hopefully some of you guys have seen that. It was actually a great movie. Anyway. I love you guys. That's the important thing. We're going to continue to try to work forward. I hope you guys appreciate my craziness because I am truly trying to help you guys grasp the craziness of what's actually happening and make the most of it, because your reality is your discussion with God on a regular basis. God talks to you in your world. Remember that, please, because this is how you can find out where you're at with things, what you can do, how you can make a difference, what you can do differently, what you can do more, what you can do less, what you can do. Get inspired. Be a part of this. Many of you are ripple makers. I need more of you to be ripple makers. It's awesome. You guys are the best. Where we go one, we go all. Hence the ripples. It's on the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle.